Welcome to Voice of the Past TV, where forgotten history speaks again. Before we begin, like this video, subscribe to Voice of the Past TV, and share this story with someone who loves history. And in the comments, tell us what story you want next. Now, let me take you back in time. They called her the unsinkable ship. In 1912, the world believed it had finally defeated nature. Her name was Titanic, the largest, most luxurious ship ever built. Imagine a floating palace with electric lights, grand staircases, and promises of absolute safety. But as the world celebrated, history was watching and waiting. On the cold, clear night of April 14, 1912, the Atlantic Ocean was like a sheet of black glass. To calm, passengers laughed, danced, and slept peacefully in their cabins, completely unaware that death was drifting silently toward them. At 11:40 p.m., the iceberg struck. It wasn't a loud crash or a violent explosion. It was a whisper, a slight shudder that most passengers didn't even notice. But below deck, the crew members who inspected the damage felt their hearts drop. The ship wasn't flooding in one place. It was bleeding from multiple wounds along its side. The horrifying truth spread slowly and quietly through the ship. Titanic was going to sink. And here is the dark part of the story no one likes to talk about. There were lifeboats for only half the people on board. Not because there wasn't enough space for more, but because the designers thought too many lifeboats would ruin the view for the first-class passengers. As panic began to set in, social class decided who lived and who died. First-class passengers were calmly guided to the lifeboats. Meanwhile, many third-class passengers were trapped below decks, confused by language barriers and locked behind iron gates. While the ship's orchestra bravely played calming music on the deck, families were being torn apart forever. Parents kissed their children goodbye, placing them into lifeboats. Husbands held their wives for the last time, letting them go to safety while they stayed behind to face the inevitable. At 2:20 a.m., with a deafening roar, the unsinkable ship broke in half. The ocean swallowed over 1,500 souls into its icy depths. The cold water didn't just freeze bodies, it silenced screams within minutes. When the rescue ship finally arrived, the sea was quiet again, too quiet. All they found were floating lifeboats, frozen hands reaching for nothing, and a world forced to admit its own arrogance.